What's good, everybody? The North Father is here. We're going to do this story about Emmett Till. First, I would like to say thank you to my fourth grade teacher, best friend, Miss Spizzato, for reconnecting with me today. And it was truly an honor. I'm about to do this story here about Emmett Till. This is by no way of trying to start any kind of race war or anything like that. This is a young black American story that ended way too sad. On August 19th, 1955, Emmett Till's mom gave him a ring that belonged to his father. The next day, he and his cousin boarded a train from Chicago at the 63rd Street station, and they was going to Money, Mississippi, to his uncle's house. When Emmett Till boarded the train, he forgot to kiss his mama goodbye. She said, "Emmett, you forgot to kiss your mother. How do I know if I'm ever going to see you again?" Oh, mama, he playfully scolded her. But he kissed her goodbye and he boarded the train. And the ring she gave him, he gave her the watch that he had on his wrist. But he said, "I'm going to keep this ring because I can't wait to show my cousins my daddy's watch." The young man rode 16 hours from Chicago to Mississippi. And when he got to his uncle's house, they picked cotton during the cotton picking season. And they had a lot of fun. They was working a half a day, and after that they'd go to the lake, swim, and have a good time. Money, Mississippi was a very small town. Most likely still is a very small town. And back then it wasn't much. They had a few stores. It was like an up the street town. At one end of the town was a store called Grocery Store, Brian's Grocery and Meat Market, owned by the husband, Mr. Bryant, who was 24 years old at the time, and his wife, who was 21 years old at the time. Mr. Bryant also had a side job. He drove a truck. So it was some days when he wasn't there, and he let his wife run the store. This store also made a lot of money selling candy to young black kids. More than young white kids, that's for sure. The store was owned by Roy Bryant. That's his full name, and his wife, Carolyn Bryant. The Bryants and their two boys lived behind the store in a cramped room, so they didn't have far to go to work. Their home was right behind the store. Jay also had a 235-pound half brother, J.W. Milo. J.W. had a reputation of being a heavy drinker, and he was tough on anybody who got in his way. Sort of a take no prisoners type guy. One day, after a hard working day picking cotton, the young Till, his cousins, and his uncle went to the store to get some refreshments. Hard working day, they made a little bit of cash, so they wanted to spend the money. So they went to Brian's grocery store. Young Emmett Till. One day, a young Emmett Till, his uncle, and his cousins went to the Bryant's grocery store. After a hard day of picking cotton, they earned some cash, so they went to the store to buy some refreshments. One or two at a time, the boys went in the store to buy some refreshments. A young Emmett Till was the last one to go in the store. They all didn't go in together. They went in separately. And Emmett Till went in by himself. And the story has it, as he left the store, he turned around and he whistled at Carolyn Bryant, like, and Carolyn Bryant was furious. She came to the door and gave a young Emmett Till a cold, hard look, and everybody got scared because they thought she was gonna go get a gun, but they knew. And Roy Bryant wasn't in town at the time. He was working his second job, being a truck driver, and everybody knew the word was gonna get back to him. Whatever happened, whatever angered her, she was gonna damn sure tell him. When she went towards her car, the boys jumped in the truck and they hightailed it out of there. In fact, the uncle wasn't with them. The older cousin drove the truck that day. This the older cousin right here. And while driving away, a young Till begged the boys not to tell the uncle what had happened, and he didn't. A couple of days went by, one, two. On the third day, Roy Bryant came storming into their house. Where's that Chicago boy at? He went past everybody else's bed. He left the other black kids alone. Even Emmett Till aunt begged him and offered to give them all the money they had not to touch this boy, that it wasn't that serious. Roy Bryant almost considered the offer, but his brother, J.W. Milo, wasn't trying to hear any of that. He wanted the black kid, and he got him out of there.